In this video, I'm going to be showing you all about invisible zippers and how to put them in, and different kinds of invisible zipper feet. So first I'll show you how to find out if it's an invisible zipper, how to identify if that's what it is. So I have two different types of zippers right here. So invisible zippers, or also known as concealed zippers, those are most often used in commercially made garments. So you can see here, it's hardly noticeable at all. If you pull apart the seam, you can see a little bit of the zipper, and that's why usually you'll pick a color that just blends in with the background. And this is a zipper that it's hidden here, but it's made within a seam, so the fabric folds over top of it. This is also common in garments, but this one is not invisible. You can see that the coil of the zipper is on the top, and for an invisible zipper, the coil is underneath, it's on the back. And you can also usually tell by the zipper pull. This one is almost always shaped like that, and the other ones are like that. This is an invisible zipper foot for my machine, and you can identify this by seeing it's almost like two little tracks underneath, and those are just the right size for running down the coil of the zipper like that. And as you do that, the needle is in just the right spot to sew it in perfectly. So if you don't have one of these, then you can use one of these, which works pretty good too. You won't need all of these blue pieces, you'll just need one of them, depending on what your machine is. I'll show you, my machine will use C, I believe. Maybe it's A. So this is the part that attaches to the machine. And there's a little slide here that slides on. See how it's got those two little grooves similar to this one? So this is gonna run down the curl of the zipper just like that. And these you can adjust side to side so that the needle is hitting in just the right spot for your zipper, which makes it really, really easy to work with because you can adjust it to be just right. So before we sew the zipper into place, we're gonna open it up and iron the curl of the zipper a little bit. So what I like to do is stab it into the ironing board with a glass head pin that's not gonna melt. And that way I can tug on the zipper and it stays where I want it. So you can see how the curl of the zipper is like this, and I can open it up like that. So I want to open that flat, and I'm gonna push down hard with the nose of the iron and move the iron all the way down to the end of the zipper as far as I can go. You can go a second time if you want, but basically all we want is to just soften that curl. It's not gonna stay flat, but it's gonna kind of open up flatter, and it makes it easier to put this thing in properly. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other side now. Make sure you use a glass head pin when you do this, or a crystal pin that won't melt with the iron. Also, we shouldn't take too long with the iron. You wanna go kind of fast with it because you could melt the zipper if you stayed on it a really long time. So you can see, I'm gonna close the zipper just so you can see the difference. See how the zipper is closing up? So I'm gonna put the zipper in between these two pieces of fabric. I'll start by placing the zipper right side down against the right side of the fabric. And I'm gonna center it in there. And I wanna pin on the edge that I'm gonna be sewing. And now we'll open up that zipper because you must have the zipper open to sew this. And we'll be sewing in the curl of the zipper. So usually if I was making something and I wanted to use, with this fabric, I would put a pink zipper here, but I just wanted it to be more visible. So I'm using contrasting thread and contrasting zipper and everything. So to remove this foot and attach this one, I need to take this screw out. This one I can put the screw back in and then put it in place. So I've installed the invisible zipper foot, and you can see how this slides back and forth. So that's how you adjust the position to make it hit in the right spot. So once we get set up, then I'll show you what to look for and where you want to be lining up. Whenever you sew an invisible zipper, the zipper has to be open. So you can see how the zipper is curled out to the side like that. We want the needle to be landing right in here. So you need to check and see where your needle's gonna land by just manually turning the wheel. So I can see that the needle is going a little bit too far to the right. So I'm gonna lift it back up, and then I'm just gonna wiggle the foot over just a little bit and see if that fixed it. It might have been a little too much, because now it's going into the curl, so I need to bring it back. You can't do it with the foot down. So you can see I've tucked the thread under so it's hidden out of the way. So I'm ready to sew. Sewing forward, back stitch a bit. You want to make sure that the zipper isn't curling over like that, but staying open. And you can't sew right to the end. You're just going to sew as close as you can and then back stitch. I'll show you how to finish that later. Okay, so now I'm going to close the zipper. And this is the first test. If your zipper gets stuck when you're trying to close it, then that means that you probably sewed onto the curl of the zipper, and that's why it won't go. But the nice thing is that you can take those stitches out that were blocking it and re-sew that section, and it won't show at all. So this is going to be like that. So half of the zipper's in now, and now I need to flip that over like this onto the other side. We'll line up those fabrics. You're going to put pins in here. So now we'll open up the zipper. You can give it a check to make sure that you pinned it correctly. It's going to go like that. Open up the zipper. And now we're sewing on this side. So this feels a little awkward, but it works best to sew towards the end of the zipper rather than the other direction. Not always, but if you wanted to use the zipper as close as you can to the end, then the only way to really do that is to go towards the close of the zipper. And it looks like it's still lined up okay. As close as we can get, back stitch. Now, just have to flip that, and there's the zipper. Now, if this was pink, you'd barely see it. So if this was a shirt or a skirt or a dress or whatever, and you need to close up this, the rest of that seam, you're gonna use your regular zipper foot for the next set. So I'm gonna put my regular zipper foot on the right side. So there's the zipper, and I need to finish this end of the seam. So I'll put the two fabrics right sides together, and I'll try to push the zipper out of the way, but basically what I want to do is, you can see where the zipper seam stops. I want to start down here and sew towards that stitching as close as I can get and as straight a line as I can. Sometimes it means you have to do a little bit of hand sewing to finish that properly. When I open that and press it, it's gonna look Beautiful.